All right, we're here at my outdoor worm bin, and 24 hours ago, Hurricane Helene went past Tampa off the coast. And while it was windy, I checked inside my worm bin to see what was going on. And I actually saw a bunch of worms all crawling between the layers of the bag here. So what I want to do is I want to go inside and kind of take it apart and see if the worms have calmed down. Now you can see onesie twosies. Here's one right here. I'm just going to collect them. And from where I left it on our lanai, there were a couple of worms directly underneath it. Thought I saw one over here. Yep, I've got one right there. So the winds were pretty bad over here, but the storm surge is what has really affected so many people, and we are very far inland. We are on the east side of Tampa, so storm surge is not a problem for us. We didn't lose power, so things were okay, but it's interesting to see how the worms react. Now, I got in here in the morning, and I think a frog jumped out, and it was pretty windy, so the barometric pressure had changed a lot, and the worms react to that, I believe. Oh, here's another big frog. Well, he'll get out. Now, I believe that worms sense that pressure change and know that a storm is coming, and they kind of get out from where they are, because when there is water all over the ground, the worms are able to move more freely because it's not dry and they can breathe. Yep, there are a few. Oh, wow. And a frog. Where's that frog? He is hopping all around the circle of this bin. There he is, right, okay, he's gone. Woo! Okay, so what I'm gonna do is gather all the worms that we see right here. They kind of have formed in the edges, and I kind of kicked them out right there. And we're just gonna collect these. And what we're gonna do is go back inside and check on the rest of the inside of the bin and give it a feeding and talk about some more stuff relating to the hurricane. Now, typically when I come out here and check on my worm bin, there might be a worm or two in between the bags. So this is a lot. Even though I probably have somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000 worms in here, I would say there's probably about 30 to 40 on the outside here. So we're just gonna relocate them back in their home. All right, so we've got a bunch of worms here, and we're gonna go ahead and fit our worm bin back together. And then we're gonna do like I said and start to feed it. That frog. Oh, more worms. There it is. Got it. No, I didn't. Oh, there he goes. Freaking get away. Oh, jeez. All right, that was embarrassing. This goes like this. Before we go any further, I wanted to let you know that this was filmed 24 hours after we saw the effects of Hurricane Helene, which went on to become a catastrophic storm in terms of the storm surge here in Florida and wind and flooding in Appalachia and beyond. The Clearwater Marine Aquarium, a nonprofit that rescues, rehabilitates, and releases marine wildlife, where my son works, and featured in the movie Dolphin's Tale with Winter and Hope, was flooded under 4 feet of water, and many of their life support systems were damaged or destroyed. Both the workers and the animals could use your help if you would like to donate. There is a link in the description of this video. Thank you to those who have donated already after seeing my community post. Now back to the video. All right, so we're back inside in our lanai, and here's the worms that we're gonna put in at the end for a time lapse. And I'm glad to see that the worms are acting normal again, and they are probably all in here because we fed them a really good feeding, and we put an experimental food in here, which was a round watermelon that had some critter holes in it. And I wanna see if they actually got in here and ate it. So let's kind of dig right here in the feeding zone, and let's go over all the food that we fed them last. We started with a lettuce stalk and lettuce leaves, along with some avocado shells, one that was filled with small vegetable scraps. Then we put in a piece of pineapple and a celery stalk, some strawberry tops and an apple core, a banana peel, along with a broccoli stalk and some grapes that I had to burst open. Finally, we put in our experimental small failed watermelon from my garden that had some caterpillar holes in it. And we topped it off with our usual worm chow, used coffee grounds, and pulverized eggshell grit. And I think that they got into that watermelon because right down here is where we put it, and I'm really not seeing like a ball of something. I am running into the avocado shells, which is not unusual because they take forever, but really right here, somewhere in here, should be that watermelon. I do not see it. What I do see is some avocado pieces. There's the shell right there, and it looks like they're taking just a little bit longer to eat the flesh. But let me dig under the bedding right here. We did put some, bigger type bedding in there there, and I'm not seeing it. I am not seeing that thing at all. So clearly they got into that baby watermelon through whichever way they could. I don't know if they penetrated that peel or if they got in through those holes, but I was really expecting to see it. I think we are only 2.5 weeks since our last feeding, maybe 3. So pretty impressive. That also means that I can be feeding them a lot more than I have been. And as I go through here, I'm not sure if it's coming up on the camera, but there are lots of worms throughout. Let me dig to the sides because typically that is our drier portion, but it has been raining a lot and I have been coming in with our water can and adding some more water, so they are really happy. Check it out. Lots of hidey-ho worms right there. Now, this outdoor worm bin is fantastic because, as you saw before, it has 2 fabric pot bags within each other. So it doesn't matter how much water you put into here, it is going to get out and just leave the bedding moist. It's never going to flood in here and stay flooded or, get kind of swampy or anaerobic in here. So I really like using them. So if anything, you can, put water in it and let it drain. You don't want to let it dry out. So things are looking really good. In fact, I thought I was going to harvest, but I am not going to do that because I've already disturbed them enough. I usually do that right away and I just didn't know what I was going to see. So let's form a hole right here for our feeding and kind of put some of this older bedding in here. And next time we are definitely going to harvest. So there we go. Let's just put some of the old bedding in. Perfect. Oh, shoot. That right there. What did I just squeeze? We saw these last time. These are little wire worms. Thanks for the commenters that helped me figure out what they are, but I don't want them in my bin. Some people said it's all right, but I think they could be larvae of a beetle, and they're crawling through my fingers, and it feels weird, so I don't like that. But yeah, there's 3 right there. Ooh, executive producer said kill them. Darn. But whatever that was, whatever I just kind of broke open, that's what they were getting it from. Oh, there's another one right there. Okay, that's the 4th one. Ah! Okay, so we saw 3 last time, 4 this time. That is kind of what happens when you have an outdoor bin. Oh, right there, another one. This thing has been out here 4 years, and that is the first time. Oh, gosh, another one. 4 years it's been out here, and I've never seen those critters. And, oh! Hope this isn't going to continue, but it'll stop continuing when I stop looking. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to stop looking. There we go. Right there. Got some bedding. The executive producer had a great point. I should probably add some more bedding right there on the bottom. But here is some of the stuff that we're going to be feeding them. But first, we are going to put some nasty nasty hummus into this bin. It does not smell good, and it is nasty. So let's see if the worms eat that. Ugh. Something that came out with me. Lots of tomatoes, broccoli. Looks like we got some celery stalk and some lettuce here. And that's just going to go on the hummus. I'm going to use the celery to kind of spread out the hummus a little bit there. Now I'm just playing. Executive producer's laughing at me. And then we'll go in here with more avocado shells, some banana peels. Got a sticker that'll come off. There we go. Onion. You know what? Those wire worms were around onion last time, so I'm going to keep that out for a little bit. But usually I don't mind feeding onion. Here is a tangerine that I'm going to make sure is open. Some more avocado peels. Got a watermelon right there. And the last of our angel cots, which is just a unique fruit that I hadn't seen before. There we go. Lettuce stalk and watermelon. And I am just going to clean off my hands from that nasty hummus. Ugh, that was gross. Now I know hummus is made with, I think, olive oil and some other ingredients that you wouldn't normally just kind of pour into a worm bin, but I don't think it's going to matter in moderation. We'll just let them see what they want to do with it. And maybe I'll come in 2 weeks instead of 3 weeks like this check-in is. And I tricked myself a little bit because I forgot my amendments. And in we go with some worm chow. This is just expired grains from my pantry that I pulverized in my Magic Bullet blender there. And then we'll put in some coffee grounds, get rid of a bunch of them. They seem to go through them pretty quick, and that's probably because the grounds themselves are pretty small and they're a great nitrogen source for them. And then finally we'll go in with some pulverized eggshell grit. I also pulverized this in my Magic Bullet blender. I just kind of take the shells and rinse them off, set them out to dry. Collect them in a jar, and when I'm ready, I put a bunch in and then grind them up. All right, so I'm actually going to put some shredded cardboard down, and then I'll put these soiled paper towels down just like that. Then we'll go in with some more shredded cardboard and actually has some liquid because I've been moisturizing it Moisturizing, that sounded funny. For my urban worm bag. And then we'll go in with some more dry stuff because I am going to go ahead and water this down after I put it back outside. So things are looking great in here. So like I said, we'll go ahead and check back on this in 2 weeks and see how that feeding's doing. So I don't know where I'm gonna fit this back in, but as I was cleaning up, I realized that I totally forgot to do the time lapse. So you may be seeing this in the middle of the video or right at the end, but let's let the worms dive down. And that's really cold there, so we're gonna let them dive down into some coffee. Here we go. All right, I think they're happy being under a little bit of a layer there, so we'll just cover them up right there, and I think I'll bring you back when I was talking a little bit about bananas and hurricanes. I forgot to show you this one cool video of our banana plants and our palm trees blowing in the wind, and look at those banana leaves. They're actually adapted to shred, and the veins in them go parallel, so that when the wind blows, they shred and it doesn't kill the leaf, and they actually still stay green and nourish the plant post-tropical storm or hurricane. And if you want to check out a video where I added a unique banana flower to this worm bin, check out this video right here. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope your worm bins are doing fantastic. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.